What character is written to be hated/disliked, but ended up being your favorite? Hades from Disney's Hercules. He one's of my favorite characters of all time. I know, I got the concept XD. Gus Fring. To me he ultimately seemed a more human, honest, and perhaps even humane person than White. I'm not saying he was good, but to a certain extent I rooted for him over White. Honestly, it was just insane. Just insane how well executed a lawful evil character could be. Alan Rickman's Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. No more merciful beheadings. And call off Christmas. Apostrophe. Alan Rickman in everything he's ever been in. Asian Dawn. Apostrophe. I saw it in Time magazine. Captain Hammer. Corporate tool. Everyone's a hero in their own way. In their own, not that heroic, way. Toss up between Scar and Judge Claude Frollo. Both multi-dimensional characters from Disney Animation's golden age. It didn't hurt that they were voiced by two of the finest voices in Hollywood, Jeremy Irons and Tony Jay, respectively. Claude Frollo was such a formative part of Disney's Docker repertoire. As an actual human villain. No need for magic or special power. Just a straight bad dude in a place of power. I love him as a character and the impact he plays on the others. And oh, if he was written to be annoying, I can't even feel it beneath the amazement at how damn good of a job they did at portraying a rappy evil man. Plus his villain song was Ducking Badass. Possibly the best Disney villain song. Dr. Facilier is what rises doubt in my mind. But Claude at least comes from a good movie. Jose and Azula. I just had a flashback to Azula in her last fight with Zuko, where after defeat she has a full-on breakdown. I remember feeling really sad for her, even though she was such a ruthless character. Now that is how to write a character. You have to remember that she was only 14. To be so ruthless and unemotional at that age. She had to have had more of a backstory that we never saw. I'm so glad she was defeated, because she would have been a horrible leader. But seeing her break like that was devastating. Gaston is a magnificent bastard, even if he's a sexist and illiterate prick. But his death was still satisfying. No one's slick as Gaston. No one's quick as Gaston. Richard and Emily Gilmore. Gilmore Girls. Yes! Exclamation mark. So my mom and I are religious GG watchers. We're each other's Lorelai and Rory. However, as we've gotten older, we've both realized that Lorelai was actually kind of selfish and dramatic. And Richard and Emily, while full of their own faults, were not the villains of the story. That scene with Lorelai talking about Richard in GG, A Year in the Life breaks my heart every time. I excluded details just in case you haven't seen it cause it's one hell of a spoiler. Imo. I think the Gilmore parents absolutely loved Rory and wanted the best for her. I think they failed Lorelai, which is why she is so hesitant in involving herself in their lives again, and why she is super jealous of their respect and adoration for her child. I think they wanted what was best for Lorelai, but when she failed to be the best version they wanted, they would reprimand her and make her feel terrible instead of embracing what makes her unique and happy. That's what makes them compelling antagonists to the story. What is so great about their development over the series is showing them start to rebuild that bridge with their own daughter, all while trying to support and encourage their grandchild. Gul Dukat. Such a fascinatingly flawed character. So utterly unaware of his own faults and privilege. If he was born in the Federation he would be one of their top admirals, but he was born a Kardashian. Oh, that's a good point. I did like and dislike him at the same time. Especially in the last season, when he screwed K-Win by pretending to be a Bajorian. He is also a pitiful character as well, and that can make him a bit endearing at times. Win is a perfect example of a character designed to be hated, and Jesus ducking Christ you do. Ed Harris character, General Francis, in the movie The Rock. He's obviously the villain of the film, and so you're supposed to root against him. But as the plot unfolds, and you get insight as to his reasoning behind his actions, and then doubly when you find out he was bluffing and not actually planning to hurt innocent civilians, you really reason with him and understand his motive as coming from a good place. Captains Fry and Darrow are the real villains. Handsome Jack. One of my all-time favorite villains. This is a good example of a villain who is truly evil. A douchebag. And literally kills MCs. Yet you still like him all the way to the end. That's just good writing and voice acting. No. I can't die like this. Not when I'm so close. And not at the hands of a filthy bandit. I could have saved this planet. I could have actually restored order. And I wasn't supposed to die by the hands of a child-killing psychopath. Exclamation mark. You're a savage. You're a maniac. You are a bandit. And I am the goddamn hero. Exclamation mark. Apostrophe. Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. He wasn't supposed to stay in the series, but people liked him too much. He was far better than Goku. Hey now. Goku's still the man and has certainly a beloved character in his own right. I'll admit though, has much more of a flat, one-note character. Vegeta, on the other hand, probably goes through more character development than anyone else on the show. It's weird that Vegeta was Toriyama's least favorite character in Z, considering how much time he spent on Vegeta's evolution. Hans Lander in Inglourious Bastards. That's a bingo. You just say bingo. The Always Sunny characters are horrible people on paper, but they are hilarious to watch. Yep, Dennis is just nuts, but I can't help but feel attracted to him. He's the reason I started watching the show. You've become another victim of the D-E-N-N-I-S system. I ducking love Palpatine. He has so much fun being evil, always smiling and laughing. Such a positive guy. I looked the actor up one time because I always thought he kinda had this grouchy old man United Kingdom accent. It turns out it is a Scottish actor. I love the voice he does for Palpatine, it is so iconic. John Ralphio Saperstein, the Warhorst. Isma/Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove. Kronk was not written to be hated. Kronk is the best. Don't do Kronk dirty like this. But I ducking agree with Isma. She makes an adorable evil kitten. Tywin Lannister. In the book Tywin is just despicable, although I didn't feel the same way about him in the TV show. Maybe it was the way Charles Dance portrayed him, but I felt he was much more fascinating and, while not an anti-hero, was much more compelling. In the books the whole era as his cupbearer plot didn't happen, so we didn't get to see the slightly human side of Tywin. That scene alone made him slightly sympathetic in a psychopathic grandfatherly kind of way. The era as Tywin's cupbearer is by far my favorite major change that the show made compared to the books. Count Olaf, and by extension, Hook Hands. By further extension, Matethias Medical School. Pacifica from Gravity Falls. Not too hated, but a whole lot of people dislike her. So I'm in the A. I ship her with Dipper. I ship Dipper with Clone Dipper. Teabag from Prison Break. I ended up loving him simply because of how well the character was executed. Heath Ledger's Joker. He's still absolutely terrifying, and I wouldn't want to be within 100 miles of him, but holy shit, he was the best thing about that movie, and that's really saying something. One of my favorite details about his performance is the tick with his tongue. I hear that people can develop that tick if they're overprescribed antipsychotic meds. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Apparently he was doing it because the prosthetic scars constantly started coming off, so licking them kept them on. Darth Maul. Yeah, me too. Especially after watching all the Clone Wars episodes. Clone Wars is so dang good. Took this depressingly boring character that had a cool design but nothing else interesting about him, and made him into such a good character. Garlum. He was just trying to get his stolen ring back. Yes, he does horrible things, but what would you do if someone stole something from you and then invites you to guide them on a dangerous adventure? I think you would try and get back the stolen ring. I don't think Garlum is written to be hated. I think has written to make you pity him like Frodo does. Give you a real idea of what the ring can do to you, and understand Frodo's burden better. Princess Azula from Atla. Yes, well, at least Zuko had a supporting uncle. Azula had weird friends. Her father and a mother who feared her and disappeared. No wonder she went crazy after everybody had left her. Her friends she chose. Notice how neither are benders? She surrounded herself with powerful people. But she made sure she was the most powerful. And then they left her. I swear if General Bonkrell is on here. I like his design and lightsabers. But Krell is a major piece of shit. Yeah. His lightsaber style is the only good thing about him. Bubble Bass from SpongeBob. In the episode season, at least, nobody else in the whole show ordered a double triple bossy deluxe on a raft 4x4 animal style. Shingles with a shimmy and a squeeze. Light axle grease and ask to make it cry. Burn it and let it swim. Some people, like Binging with Babish, have deciphered the code and made this recipe though. We serve food here, sir. Apostrophe. Magneto. It's hard to blame him, when in a lot of ways he is right. I remember watching the X-Men movie for the first time. I was unfamiliar with his backstory as a Holocaust survivor, and seeing it, I just thought this explains him perfectly. Ben Linus from Lost. Just commented that before I saw this. Such a great character. Total dick but so dope. Absolutely. Every time you think has coming around he does something else to prove has in it for himself. I love the way John handles him at the end though. The Ant King from Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, it was an interesting character development. Tom Nook. Everyone treats him with mild disdain, even though Hez totally hooking it up on the housing front. Dude, everyone gives Tom Nook so much hate, but imagine taking out a loan with 0% APR and unlimited time to pay it back. Not one phone call asking when you're going to repay, and no threats to go to collections. He's a bro really, not to mention he literally gives you the money to pay it back in exchange for whatever dumb crap you find in town / on your island. You got a bundle of sticks, a dung beetle, and some snowflakes? Lol, no problem dude. I'll pay you for them. Squidward. I never thought of Squidward as a villain. Wasn't the question. It was a character that's supposed to be hated. Alan Rickman. They're not wrong. Dude was masterclass in playing a pompous asshole who we all loved. Rainer from Attack on Titan. He wasn't written to be hated or disliked, he's written to show that even outside the walls it's all the same. True, the show is all about perspective. But when the big reveal occurs in season 2, he was an unlikable character for me and many other fans. That is until season 4, when you realize why he did what he did, and how realistic the consequences of his actions have become. Scar from The Lion King. Has one evil sob. I low-key like Madara. Madara was a psychopath, but a badass one. Didn't he defeat the Edo Tensei and pseudo come back to life? The Hound. I love the Hound. Has my fav character. Balthazar from Galactica. The most irredeemable character I've ever seen who in the end does get redeemed. It's Balta. Gay as fracking Baltaftfi. Dio Brando. He's a horrible man. And the fandom loves him for it. Too many to be listed. Villains are usually way more interesting than heroes because writers have fun with them, while heroes are usually written with a moral code in mind. Well, I like the Joker on the Dark Knight movie. I like him so bad, so that I want Batman to lose. Does Eric Cartman count? If so, that's my answer. For some reason I get sad every time he gets comeuppance for his evil plans. That episode where Cartman feeds the kid his own parents is hilarious. That is a truly amazing episode. I also love the one where he gets Butters to hide in the junkyard so he can go to the Mexican restaurant. He thinks of no one but himself. And sometimes don't we all want to do that? That's definitely Louis from Suits. I liked early Louis a lot better than later season Louis. Early Louis did things to benefit himself. Late season Louis motives were all over the shop. Big Pussy Bonpansero. Cersei from Game of Thrones. I really could understand how she became as evil as she was. Plus she's just such a cool biatch. I still hated her, but I loved Head's performance as her. I was always eager to see her get a very satisfying death. Even Hedy wanted her to have a better death. than what she got. No character who made it to the final season got a good death. The only deaths in the whole series that really did it for me were Ned Stark, Viserys, and Joffrey. Dwight Schrute scrolled too far for this. He did not care what people thought of him and worked hard for this. It was okay to relentlessly mess with him. I have worked with too many lazy, cool people, I think. Looking at you, Jim. Steve Harrington, Stranger Things. To be fair, they deliberately wrote him so you would come to like him. He's an incredibly popular character. I read that they initially didn't, but that they found him so likable that they gave him a redemption arc. Draco Malfoy, Harry Potter. Even though he was supposed to be a bully, once I got to know more about him and his life/father, I could only feel bad for him tbh. Also, he definitely got a glow up throughout the movies. The way I read it, Draco was envious of Harry's friend group and wanted the same. Maybe to even be a part of that friendship. But the way he was raised and taught contradicted that. Draco wanted to network with Harry and couldn't cope with being rejected. I agree, he probably did envy the sincere unconditional friendship that core trio shared. In the top 20 of what I've seen here, 3 different Alan Rickman characters were mentioned. I miss that dude. Loki and Kylo Ren. They're very similar villains, if you can even really call them villains. IDK if they were written to be disliked though. Loki is clearly written as a humorous villain and even anti-hero at times. As a very charismatic baddie. If Loki wasn't a charismatic trickster, what the duck would he be? Creed from The Office. Hez obviously a nutcase, but Hez somehow the best character. The little things he does are the best. Nobody steals from Creed Bratton and gets away with it. The last person to do this disappeared. His name, Creed Bratton. Grand Moff Tarkin. Tarkin is perfect. He's not evil. He's a stern disciplinarian. Men like him are what make a galactic empire possible. He does not play games. He does not tolerate incompetence from his own, and he punishes those who refuse to follow. Yeah, maybe blowing up a planet is a little extreme, but damn it, he gets results. Adam Taurus, he looks cool. Is voiced by Garrett Hunter from Mega 64 and has an awesome fighting style. The only flaw was his writing, made him one-dimensional. A huge waste of what could have been a great character, like so many others in that show. Beelish. Beelish was great in the books and in the first few seasons of the show. I can't forgive what they did to his character in the end though of the show. Ruined his character. I felt his story ended poorly given his true significance tbh. Walter White or Tony Soprano. This needs to be a lot higher. Walter White is such a fascinating character whom you love, loathe, and fear all at the same time. Well written, and then Bryan Cranston executes so fucking well. Tom Riddle. They completely butchered his backstory in the HBP movie. Homelander. Something about a complete narcissist sociopath that just wants to be loved as Superman hits just right. Anthony Starr plays him so freaking well. Bellatrix Lestrange. She was the right amount of nuts that I enjoy. Moriarty from BBC's Sherlock. I have a deep fascination with psychopaths and sociopaths, and his character and Sherlock's were very fascinating to 14 Yomi. Yes, I know that those aren't 100% accurate portrayals of how they are, but it did inspire me to seek a career in studying these behaviors. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.